Good morning, children. So, let's begin our day with learning science. So, let's continue learning our lesson number 1, the living world and classification of microbes. In a previous lecture, students, we had learned about classification of microbes. First, we had learned the definition of microbe. What does microbe means? Then we have learned the classification, how microorganisms are classified into various terms. We had learned the characteristics of bacteria, characteristics of protozoa. In today's lecture, we are going to learn the characteristic features of third, fourth and fifth microbe, that is fungi, algae and viruses. Let's see it one by one. Third microbe is fungi. Its size is approximately 10 micrometer to 100 micrometer. First point, these are found on decaying organic matter and dead bodies of plants and animals. Students, when we were learning kingdom fungi, we had seen where are fungi found. They are found only on decaying or dead bodies of plants and animals. They grow on dead bodies. Second, these are eukaryotic organisms. Some are unicellular and others are visible with naked eyes. These are eukaryotic organisms. What does eukaryotic means? They have a true nucleus in them and all other membrane-bound organelles are also present. Hence, they are eukaryotic organisms. Some are unicellular. What does unicellular means? Made up of single cell. Uni means one. Some organisms of fungi are of single cell. They are known as unicellular. And some are visible with naked eye. Some are very small so that they can only be seen under a microscope. And some are large. They can see through our eyes also. Third, saprotrophic, absorb their food from decaying organic matter. What does saprotrophic mean, students? Organisms that feed on dead organic matter are known as saprotrophic organisms. Fourth point, they reproduce sexually and asexually by cell division or by budding. The mode of reproduction is in two ways, sexually also and asexually also. They reproduce sexually by dividing their cell, that is cell division, and some organisms reproduced in asexual mode of reproduction, that is by budding. And what is budding, students? In budding, a new individual grows from a generative part of the parent. That process is known as budding. Example, baker's yeast, candida and mushroom. These all examples are of fungi. Mushroom is the best fungus. We have heard mushroom many times. Our next microbe is algae. Let's see the characteristic features of algae. First, its size is approximately 10 micrometer to 100 micrometer. First point, they are aquatic. Students, what is aquatic? The organisms that lives in water are known as aquatic. So, algae are found in water. Second, eukaryotic, unicellular, autotrophic organism. They are eukaryotic. That means a well-defined nucleus is present in the cell of algae and also other membrane-bound organelles are found. They are unicellular. They are made up of single cell. Autotrophic organism. What does autotrophic means? In the modes of nutrition we had learned. What is autotrophic? Organism that can prepare its own food are known as autotrophic organisms. So, they are eukaryotic, unicellular, autotrophic organisms. Third, photosynthesis is carried out with the help of chloroplast present in the cell. Students, in a second point, we have seen the mode of nutrition is autotrophic. That means they prepare their own food. So, how they prepare their own food? By the process of photosynthesis, and the photosynthesis is carried out with the help of chloroplast that is present in the cell of algae. Example of algae are Chlorella, Climodomonas. Very few species of algae are unicellular. Most of them are multicellular and visible with naked eye. Students, most species of algae are unicellular, that is made up of single cell, and others, most of them are multicellular, that we can see with our eyes. Here is the picture of chlorella, which is the example of algae. You can see it is of green color. Why is it green color, students? Because it is filled with chloroplast, and that chloroplast helps the species to perform photosynthesis, and by performing photosynthesis it can prepare its own food. It is known as autotrophic organism. Moving further, let's learn our last microbe, that is viruses. Its size is approximately 10 nanometer to 100 nanometer. Generally, viruses are not considered as living organisms, or they are said to be organisms at the edge of living and non-living. They are studied under microbiology. Students, in general, viruses are not said as they are living organism. They are at the point, at the edge, where they are said as living and also non-living. They are studied under microbiology. What is microbiology, students? Microbiology is the study of microorganisms. First point, viruses are extremely minute. That is, they are 10 to 100 times smaller than bacteria and can be seen only with electron microscope. The size of viruses are very small, they are very minute. They are 10 to 100 times smaller than bacteria. Students, you have been noticed that bacteria, algae, they are measured in micrometer, but viruses are measured in nanometer, because they are very small comparatively to bacteria and others. So, viruses are extremely minute, that is, they are 10 to 100 times smaller than bacteria and can be seen only with electron microscope. Second, they are found in the form of independent particles. Virus is a long molecule of DNA. The full form of DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid, or RNA, ribonucleic acid, covered by a protein coat. So students, what is a virus? It is a long molecule of DNA and RNA. DNA or RNA. What is DNA? DNA is a self-replicating material that is present in all living organisms, and it is also covered by a protein coat. A coating of protein is also covered. Third point, viruses survive only in living plant or animal cells and produce their own proteins with the help of host cell and create their numerous replica. What it is saying, students? Where does viruses survive? They can only survive those plants and animal cells are living. They cannot survive on non-living organism. And they can produce their own proteins with the help of host cell and create their numerous replica. If it's surviving on a plant cell, then for that virus, the plant cell becomes its host. And what it do? With the help of that host cell, it produces its own protein and creates their numerous replica. It can make it can reproduce same kind of organism of its self. Then they destroy the host cell and become free. After reproducing, after making the copy of itself, what they do? They destroy the host cell from which they were producing their own proteins. After making its replica, they destroy the host cell and become free. These free viruses again infect new cell. Then again these free viruses infect the new cell. Again it's going to produce their own proteins. Then again it's going to make its own replica. Then it will destroy the host cell and become free. Fourth point, viruses cause many diseases to plants and animals. They cause diseases to plants and animals. So students, in the picture you can see the example of virus, that is tomato wilt virus. Tomato wilt virus is an important disease of many different crops in temperate and subtropical regions of the world. So students, we have completed our lesson number 1, living world and classification of microbes. In this lesson, we had learned about biodiversity and need of classification. We have also seen various criteria used by Robert Harding Whittaker for the classification of living organism. Then we had learned about 5 kingdom system of classification. We have seen various activity of all the 3 kingdom. That was very first kingdom, kingdom Monera, kingdom 2 Protista, kingdom 3 fungi. Then we had learned about microbe. What is microbe? Then we have seen the classification of microorganism, in which first, bacteria, we have seen the characteristics of bacteria. Then we had learned the characteristic of protozoa. Then the characteristic features of fungi. Then fourth, algae. And fifth, viruses. So we had concluded our lesson 1. Students, for clearing all your doubts, to make your doubts clear, watch the video from the first. Watch the first video till the last video. Watch the video attentively. Thank you, students. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.